A former associate of Rudy Giuliani has just filed a major new lawsuit in New York State against him, accusing him of sexual assault, harassment, wage theft, and creating a hostile work environment by making racist, sexist, and anti-Semitic remarks while intoxicated. She also says that she recorded some of his behavior as part of her job. I believe the saying goes, "Lordy, there are tapes." That woman who filed the lawsuit, Noelle Dunphy, was hired by Giuliani in 2019 as his director of business development, and he offered her a $1 million annual salary. However, she says he later told her that he couldn't pay her until his divorce was finalized and that he had to keep her employment secret. He also offered to represent her for free in a legal dispute with an abusive ex-partner, because who better to protect you from an abusive ex-partner than an abusive boss? According to Dunphy, these offers from Giuliani were used as a pretext to coerce her into a sexual relationship. He allegedly demanded oral sex from her, even while he was on speakerphone with Trump and other high-profile clients. The lawsuit goes into much more extensive detail, and I'll refrain from talking about all of it here, but you can read the full 70-page filing yourself. Needless to say, it is repulsive and there are receipts to back much of it up. For example, here's a creepy text exchange that he had with her. "Rudy, good morning, my love. Tried to call. Noelle, let me quickly shower. Rudy, can I shower with you? Yep, just some totally normal correspondence with your boss." And by the way, who could have guessed that this guy would turn out to be a pervert?
I'm so sorry. That's horrible.
Sit. Okay.
I'm so sorry for that. Really, apologize.
Apology accepted. No problem.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. Thank you again for giving me this time.
Shall we have a drink in the bedroom?
Come here. What happened? There you go, my dear.
Okay.
There you go. Be good. You can give me your phone number and your address.
Should we slip your jacket?
Okay.
Put down your crumb.
Oh.
She's 15. She's too old for you.
Why are you dressed like
She's my daughter. Please, take me instead. Take my anus.
I don't want you.
No, take my anus. Do not have her.
I'm better than him.
It's almost like Rudy Giuliani is exactly who we thought he was. And by the way, not exactly surprising that the guy who sacrificed his entire life's reputation to defend a man who was just found liable for sexual abuse would also be a sexual abuser. Just truly shocking. And as alluded to in the text screenshot above with the references to scotch, Dunphy claims in the suit that she rarely saw Giuliani sober. She says that he drank, quote, all day and night, and would often make her, quote, fetch his alcohol and make sure he was a functioning alcoholic. The complaint says that Giuliani once asked for, quote, bottles of alcohol around 10 a.m. And look, I'm not saying that Giuliani had a problem, but yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm saying. Dunphy also says that Giuliani often made racist, sexist, and anti-Semitic remarks to her. For example, the lawsuit says that he said that it's time for Jewish people to, quote, get over the Passover because it was like 3,000 years ago. He also allegedly said black and Hispanic men hit women because it's in their culture, and he made comments that demeaned and sexualized Hillary Clinton, meaning that it wasn't only Tucker Carlson and his staff at Fox who had this weird, perverted obsession with Clinton. But the lawsuit doesn't only talk about the sexual assault allegations and harassment, as bad as those things were. There's also a lot of details about the inner workings of Trump's circle. For example, Dunphy says Giuliani bragged about being above the law, claiming he had immunity, and offered to sell a pardon to her and anyone else she knew for $2 million. He told her to keep it quiet because the government would find out if she went through normal channels, because who among us hasn't told the associate that we're currently sexually harassing and abusing to hide the super illegal thing that we're telling them we can do from the government that we currently work for? And then here's the kicker. The complaint says that in February 2019, Giuliani told Dunphy about Trump's plan if he were to lose the 2020 election. Quote, specifically, Giuliani told Mrs. Dunphy that Trump's team would claim that there was voter fraud and that Trump had actually won the election. This plan was discussed at several business meetings with Giuliani and Lev Parnas. Lev Parnas has since spoken out on Twitter, posting the screenshot of this part of the lawsuit with the caption, "A lot more to this story, #Lev remembers." If that's true, we can expect to hear a lot more hopefully soon about just how deep these disgusting, abusive, and corrupt schemes go. And of course, all of this was about control. According to Dunphy, quote, during February of 2019, Giuliani's habit of calling her obsessively continued, including approximately 34 calls on February 1st, 2019, 19 calls on February 2nd, 44 calls on February 5th, 32 calls on February 6th, 28 calls on February 7th, 36 calls on February 11th, 50 calls on February 12th, 53 calls on February 13th, and 10 calls on February 14th, 2019. 10 calls on February 14th. So the next time you think your Valentine's Day was bad, Be thankful you didn't have the guy dripping hair coloring in a landscaping parking lot calling you a dozen times. Now, Giuliani is of course disputing and denying all of this, even though there's evidence in the filing with apparently recordings to come. He says he categorically denies all of the allegations of this frivolous complaint. But look, I think you're going to have a really hard time convincing Americans that this guy is not an alcoholic, shady, abusive, corrupt, creepy, dishonest whack job.
This will be a very, very strong case. And I know you won't accept it because of your hateful biases, but let's see if you can try thinking rationally. The poll? Because they don't decide the election. The call for Joe Biden is it? Who was it called by? Oh my goodness, all the networks. Wow! All the networks! We have to forget about the law. Judges don't count. All the networks thought Biden was going to win by 10%. Gee, what happened? Come on, don't be ridiculous. Networks don't get to decide elections. Courts do.
And remember, Trump and Giuliani have been friends for a long time now, as evidenced by this video from 23 years ago.
You know, you're really beautiful. And a woman that looks like that has to have her own special scent.
Oh, thank you. Maybe you could tell me what you think of this scent.
I like that.
This may be the best of all. Oh, you dirty boy, you. Oh. Donald, I thought you were a gentleman.
You can't say I didn't try. Mayor Giuliani.
Yep, that's the party that's all about banning drag shows. So ultimately this will be hashed out in the courts, but what's clear is that New York's recent legal track record, whether it's the Manhattan District Attorney's hush money case or the E. Jean Carroll civil suit against Trump, shows that they are committed to accountability. It may take longer than we'd like, but ultimately the truth comes out. And that doesn't exactly bode well for Rudy Giuliani. Before you go, I need your help. I'm right on the cusp of hitting 2 million subscribers, so please help me grow this channel so the progressive media ecosystem grows by hitting the subscribe button right here on the screen. I also started a Spanish channel so we can finally start regaining some of that lost ground among Spanish speakers, so if you want to help support those efforts, you can hit that subscribe button. And finally, if you listen to podcasts and you want to support mine, you'll find a link to that on the screen as well. Thanks so much for watching.